what we define as our vision and what surrounds us is what we're going to attract into our future. You're listening to Working Forward, a future of work focused podcast from People Forward Network. These episodes pave the road ahead, helping us confidently step into the future as a leader who moves people forward. Let's go. Hey, it's Nikki Lewallen Gregory, and this is the Dream Chase and Lead Others to Dream series. This episode is intended to inspire and challenge you and me. Let's design our ideal life, define our dreams, believe in ourselves, and go take action. Now, let's get to it. Hey, it's Nikki Lewallen Gregory back on the Working Forward podcast. I love this series about dreaming. It's one of the things that I need to sharpen myself. I love to dream, but I've now reflected on the granular pieces of dream chasing, and I'm finding opportunities to level up. So I appreciate you being on this journey with me. And I think it's one of the greatest gifts we have is to take what we learn and to teach it to other people and mentor other people. But if you think of one of the greatest things that you can possibly do to make a deposit in someone else's life, it's to help them advance their dreams. So learn all that you can. I'd love to hear what you're learning when it comes to activating your dreams. Go share what you learn with others to help them dream more. In this series so far, we've talked about why it's important to dream and how to do it. I've shared two tools that are foundational for me in dreaming. One is the life wheel and the other one is Ikigai. If you haven't had a chance to look those up, I highly recommend diving in because they're just so foundationally helpful for me when I am doing my life planning every year and regularly looking at leveling up my dreaming. They're wonderful tools, and we've linked those out in the past episodes. We've also talked about belief and believing that you can. If we don't believe that we can accomplish these dreams, it's not going to happen. And I think about yoga. Say I'm on my mat coming up from a child's pose and the instructor says, to look at the top of your mat, put your eye gaze there, and then your feet will follow. I think of that when I think about dreaming and what we have to define. We see where we're going and believe in that, and we're going in that direction. Or you think about driving and focusing on your windshield. You're not driving looking at your rear view mirror. All of this applies in the belief we have for our dreams. We have to be future focused and believing and looking forward. And that believing I can is a constant effort to be worked on. We can have a day or a week that really throws us off, and working on our belief is so important. And sometimes we've got to borrow the belief of others in us to be able to get back on track when we fall off. Last episode, we talked about creating a crystal clear vision. In order to know where you're going, you got to be able to see it. And in dreaming, we hear about vision boards or dream boards. The reason for those is it really brings the picture to life so that we can gain momentum in the clarity in what we're going to attract into our life because we're seeing it so regularly. One of the practices that I have as part of my daily routine, I have a journal that I keep for my year annual planning. So I've got, one for 2024 right now. I had one for 23, 22, and so on. And I look at this book every day and I add pieces of gratitude in there and I get more clear on my vision for the future. In the front of that book, I have my focus for the year as far as like my word of the year. And then I have a bunch of words and pictures that illustrate the things that are in my future. So, for example, I want to live in the Mediterranean, like off of the Mediterranean Sea. I don't know where yet, but I can see this picture of on the side of a mountain, seeing a lot of nature, overlooking the water. And that is something that I revisit every day. I revisit every day the importance of me taking time in nature, and that nature, trees, greenery, the outdoor fresh air and pictures of that are so important for me to have in my life all the time. And that is where I want to spend a majority of my time. My team and I are getting ready to go on a retreat, and it is in the woods in nature. And that is not by accident. It is by design, knowing that my vision for connection and being able to have more clear thoughts is in nature and around trees. And we have our retreat there because I mean, that is just what's in my presence regularly. And so, what we define as our vision and what surrounds us is what we're going to attract into our future. Call me woo. I've definitely gotten into law of attraction and many things around that, but our eyes see what our mind believes. So whatever is in our mind, we start to see that. You think, how does it happen that you buy a new car and the color of your car, that type of make and model, now you see it everywhere? It's because it's in your presence. So it is the law of attraction at work. And the more clear you are about your vision and your dream for the future, which is your vision, the more that you're going to start to attract those things. So, today I want to talk about sharing our dreams with others. It's so important to have the clarity and to be able to share with others. And you can do that as loud as you want or in more of an intimate environment. But I do encourage you to regularly share your dreams with others because humanity, people want to help others. Like humans want to help people. And the more clear that you are with where you're going and what you're working on and how people can help, the more that you're going to see people coming in to give you a hand and help you out. So, sharing our dreams with others is a very healthy and powerful exercise. So, I'm going to run through some things today to help encourage you to do this. But I think that everything we've said so far, and that's why I reflected, has to be at play in order for sharing your dreams with others to really work well. So, first point I'd love to make is the importance of sharing your dreams with others for accountability. So, when we write our goals down, we write our dreams down. That's the first step in seeing a increase in our chances of getting there because we're writing it down. We've now got it on paper. And then revisiting it regularly would be that next step. So I talked about I have this journal book and I work on it every day. I use it every single day and I'm revisiting it. So repetition and seeing that and writing things down and getting more clear in this journal. And then the piece on accountability, when you start to throw it out to the world and share it, more people are behind you to ask you, how you doing with that? And more people are behind you to say, how can I help? Or, hey, I've got a connection or I have a resource to help you with. And so I want you to consider how can you start to take these dreams that you're getting more clear on and start to share them with more people. I think the first step is the people that are closest to you, the people that you trust, start throwing this out to them and start getting feedback on, are there questions that they're consistently having? The different people you're talking to, are you hearing the same questions? Maybe that helps you with more clarity before you start sharing this really loudly. Once you get to a place that you're like, I'm very clear and comfortable in this goal, I'm going after it. Why not share it with everybody? Share it on social media, write blogs about it, proclaim this. The more people that know, the more people that have the opportunity to help you. I will never forget a story that I have. A friend of mine, Chad Peterman, he's actually one of our hosts on the People Forward Network for the podcast Can't Stop the Growth. I was out on a trail in nature doing a power walk and catching up on some podcast episodes. And I happened to listen to one of his episodes that day. And in this episode, he shared this dream that he is going to win the Indy 500. I'm like, wait, what? Chad, race car driver? What is going on? Well, he has this dream to get behind a race car team and sponsor the team and ultimately have the winning team, not to be the race car driver, but to be the owner of this team and car and driver that reached the accomplishment of winning the Indy 500. I was like, this is such a far-fetched thing. He runs a HVAC plumbing company that's done amazing things. And I know that he has huge goals for, his speaking career and author, but then he's throwing out, I'm going to win the Indy 500. Oh man, I was so captivated. And I remember being so fired up. And he did a great job of saying, here's what I'm going to do. Here's by when, and here's how I need your help. And I was like, I'm like texting him. I'm sending pictures of me all fired up. I'm like, anything we can do to do this. And now we're working on a new project with him that is really unrelated to winning the Indy 500, but I've always brought it into our conversation. Well, when this happens, we're going to have more funds to be able to put into that race car team and invest. And I'm always thinking that way. And how can I help him reach this goal? And so the power in sharing these big, hairy, audacious, you ever heard of BHAGs? I hope you have a BHAG. If you're not familiar with BHAG, BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. These are the ones that are the stretch goals, the things that, the big dreams that we want to go accomplish. And man, it's pretty exciting when you can share things like that and other people can get excited and behind it. And Chad had even said on this episode, he said, so many people that know nothing about racing are reaching out and saying, hey, I've got an idea. Hey, sign me up. Here's what I want to do to help. I'm like, oh my gosh, one of the greatest examples of throwing out a big dream and seeing these stories of people wanting to get in and behind it. So, as we look at how we can take action on sharing our dreams and getting more people involved for accountability and to take the steps to be able to reach these things, I think one side is who is on your short list of your most important relationships? All of those people are worth a one on one conversation to share this dream and to ask for their help and ask for their feedback on it. So I think that's one part is having deep, intimate relationships with core people and sharing the dream and asking them for help and teaming up to be able to do that and asking them to share their dreams with you and figure out how the closest people in your life, what is it that are their big aspirations, and you figure out how you can be part of that and helping them achieve those. And you clearly articulate the vivid vision for how they can help you. Now, the other side of this is to go bigger, like Chad Peterman did and shared this on a podcast episode for all to hear. What are the platforms that you currently use right now from a social media perspective? And why not use all of those? Why not find opportunities to record a quick video, write a blog, find ways to regularly check in and share with people updates on pursuing this dream and leverage those social media outlets? I think it's powerful to use a wide array of different mediums for communicating. So, written, video, audio, thinking about those different ways that reach people to connect with them on the best way that they consume content. Some people are straight audio people. It's like I get all of my stuff and I consume it through an audio perspective, whereas other people want to read about it. So I think the first step that you can consider on this, scaling your reach, not just your short list of your most important relationships, but when you start to say, hey, I'm really going to unleash this dream and share it on a wider scale, what are the different components that you could start with for compiling this content to be able to share and reach more people? And what's your strategy for how to do that? Okay, so we've talked about activating your core relationships and helping them clearly see this dream and knowing theirs and being very specific and having intimate conversations with them. On the other side of what to do, I think it's starting to think, how can I leverage more scalable options to communicate and share these dreams, like social media or email marketing, or wherever it is that you are currently leveraging the ability to reach more people and share your thought leadership and get out there and connect with more people. How do you start to bring different components of communication to life underneath your strategy of sharing your dreams? So, how are you currently reaching more people? Do you have an email list? Are you using Instagram? Are you using LinkedIn? What different platforms are you using? And start to think, what is my strategy for sharing my dreams here and reaching people in the way that they like to communicate or like to consume my content? So, considering video and short reels, short videos that you can share to update people on your journey to accomplishing this dream. I think the first step here is, getting the dream out there. So being able to share from a video perspective, audio clips, written blog posts or social posts about this thing that you're working to achieve and getting it out into the world so that other people know what it is. I think that's first step. And that's a whole strategy in and of itself. How am I going to get this out here? Where can I insert it in other things that I'm already doing, social platforms that I'm already using? And then what is going to be my regular accountability check in to update people? And so realistically, this could look like, hey, I am going to launch my dream to the world in this 2-week window. Pick those 2 weeks. And then I am going to update people on my dream advancement and how things are going. And then I'm going to update people on my dream progress, how things are going and what's happened and who's jumped in and how I'm helping other people with dreams and whatever. And this is going to be then a quarterly update effort. And so if you're using video, audio, and written, you've then got components for this every quarter that you're rolling out to stay consistent in your updates with people from a scalable updating perspective. So I encourage you to get crystal clear and keep that going and keep revisiting these dreams and then start sharing them. The first step is to share them with your intimate connections and have one-on-one conversations. And the next step is start planning out how you're going to leverage your scalable communication platforms, email, social, etc., to be able to incorporate the sharing of your dreams to the large scope of the universe, to your universe that surrounds you, all of your connections that you're communicating with on, the different thought leadership that you share and your personal life updates. Have a niche strategy for sharing your dreams and having regular times to update people on these. Now, you know how I said in the beginning of this episode, thank you so much for helping me to advance my dreams. I'm not doing this well. I'm regularly peppering in the dreams that I'm working on in conversations, and I'm regularly, incorporating that into a social post every once in a while, but I do not have a regular system for my own accountability to keep the consistency of my dream sharing and updates out to other people. One, so that I can share this, be accountable, and see how others may be able to help me. But also, I want to model the way to help other people accomplish their dreams. And I think that's why we named this series Dream Chase and Lead Others to Dream. We've got to share our journey of doing this with other people and inspire them through our learnings. So with that, I encourage you to take a step towards sharing with other people and finding others that can come along and lock arms with you to accomplish these big things that are your future. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning into Working Forward. If you like what you hear, please share it with others and make sure you're following the show to not miss an episode. We are available anywhere you get your audio. See you next time.